Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing arrests in Thailand, specifically discussing this in connection with some of the lockdown mandates. Now, probably those who are watching this video, this might be something of a moot point. Some might say this is a little bit too little, too late. Bear in mind, we're still dealing with certain aspects of these lockdown, whatever you want to call them, restrictions. So I think it is still relevant. The other thing is me personally, just as a taxpayer, as a Thai, I have to ask the question, is this really the best use of resources, public time and resources? And I'll explain what I'm talking about here. A recent article from ASEAN Now, ASEANnow.com, that's formerly ThaiVisa.com. Article is titled, 24 Foreigners, Thais Arrested After Raid at Luxury Villa in Koh Samui. And quoting directly, 24 people were arrested during a raid on a luxury villa in Koh Samui during the early hours of Saturday morning, August 21. Officers from Bolput Police and Suratani Immigration carried out the raid after receiving a tip-off a party was taking place. When officers went to investigate, they found several motorcycles and cars parked outside and loud music coming from the property. Police said a party was being held in the basement of the villa. And they go into detail in this. I urge you, again, check this out, ASEANnow.com. 24 foreigners, Thais arrested after raid at luxury villa in Koh Samui. And then another one, this is from The Nation, that's nationthailand.com. Article is titled, 19 people get jail sentence for partying in defiance of emergency. Quoting directly, I find the use of the term emergency somewhat odd under these circumstances. This just an aside. We've been at this over 18 months. Okay, emergency has a notion of urgency attached to it, and I'm having a harder and harder time calling the situation an emergency. But okay, that's my opinion. Quoting directly, the Bangkok North Municipal Court on Thursday sentenced 19 adult partygoers to 3 years imprisonment and 15,000 baht fine per person for breaching emergency decree ban on gathering more than 5 people. Then further, this is again from ASEAN Now, that's ASEANnow.com. Again, legacy ThaiVisa.com. Article is titled, Police Caught Dining in Bangkok Restaurant. Quoting directly, Thai social media went ballistic that it was one rule for us, another rule from them, quote unquote, when 2 police officers attached to the Rom Klau force in Bangkok were caught having dinner at a Lap Yaso restaurant. And the point I'm trying to make is, with respect to, and I've seen some other articles on this, folks get arrested for having drinks at their house or, whatever, based on anonymous tips. And I find these folks that are tipsters a little bit concerning. That's neither here nor there. But my point in this video is, how much good does this do? I kind of understand, look, presuming the premise it is valid that, you want to have people not gathering together and things, although as I've noted in other videos, I think reasonable people can disagree on that. And I'm very uncertain, based on what I've seen and read, that the data bears out any of those conclusions. Leaving that aside and presuming that's, it's a valid reason to go ahead and, deal with this and for police to respond. My question is, these folks have to be arrested. They're given jail sentences. They have to be processed through the system. I mean, those are public resources being expended. Again, if the premise is valid, in my opinion, why not just show up and break it up? Just get folks out of there and move on. I mean, why is arrest necessary under the circumstance? If it's for a deterrent of what? A deterrent presumes kind of a long-term thinking. This is supposedly at least a temporary situation, an emergency, which, is not presumed to be permanent. So again, a police response that goes in and deals with folks, but then says, hey, get out of here, maybe that's the better way to deal with it. I don't know. But I do seriously have questions about whether or not this is the best use of police resources, especially when you consider, just because we're in the current circumstances we're in, it doesn't mean there's not what I would call genuine criminals out there doing their thing. Maybe it would be a better idea to be investigating that rather than worrying a great deal about folks who are doing stuff that, months ago was not considered to be any kind of a big deal. Meanwhile, okay, if you do presume again that it's valid, arresting people, jail terms, I think it's a little over the top, and at the same time, kind of a waste of resources, and it's not even really in line with the intentions behind the emergency rules, because putting someone in jail, presumably, you're putting them in a confined place with other people. Doesn't that aren't they more likely to possibly, get and spread something? I don't know, but I think those are valid questions to ask.